Mr. Fabritori, what do you think changed? What changed? Was it anything we did here in Congress?
What changed was the Biden administration letting in millions of people unvetted. The vetting at the border was abysmal at best. It was only checking for histories within the United States. So if you had someone that had committed crimes in another country...
been here, you don't have a history in this country.
We did not know, many people who came in, we did not know what their criminal histories were.
Is that how a 31-year-old man claims to be a minor and comes in as an unaccompanied minor to this country? Because we weren't vetting anybody.
The vetting was horrible.
This administration has had recklessly abused the mass parole policies. It's flooded our nation with illegal immigrants. It never should have happened, and it impinges and hurts the security of the American people. We are here to represent the American people. And you know, across the country, we heard about the woman that was set afire in New York City. And what was the first thing that the city of New York, with its liberal policies, did? They refused to honor ICE's detainer request for the man responsible for setting another human being on fire. Our immigration laws have to be upheld. Failure to do so is why Laken Riley is not alive today. It's why Washington State Trooper Christopher Gadd's family will never see him. Under President Biden, U.S. Customs and Border Protection encountered, and the number changes, it fluctuates, but it's about 10 million inadmissible aliens from January 2021 to December 2024. That's 3 times the number encountered during the Trump administration. Let's talk about the real numbers and the real facts. The Biden administration deliberately dismantled the effective protocols and tools that we had. It instituted catch and release. That had an effect. It ended the construction of the wall. That had an even worse effect. They ended Title 42. That had another bad effect.
This is from the presidential debate, end of October, shortly before the election, when this bombshell story dropped that Hunter Biden's laptop had emails, 10 for the, save 10 for the big guy, all of that, and that 51 intelligence officials, and it was reported that Antony Blinken was one of the orchestrators of putting together that list right before the election, said that, don't worry about this.
With a stroke of a pen, President Donald Trump has put the brakes on the proposed Lava Ridge wind project in southern Idaho. Now, the project would have put hundreds of power-generating windmills across thousands of acres in parts of Jerome, Lincoln, and Minidoka counties. Trump signed an executive order placing a temporary moratorium on all activities related to the Lava Ridge project yesterday. The order states that the Secretary of Interior will review the records of decision issued by the Bureau of Land Management last month and issue a new analysis.
The duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
So help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Senator. Absolutely.
Governor Mike DeWine picked his now former lieutenant governor to fill Vice President J.D. Vance's seat last week.
John Husted resigned as Ohio's lieutenant governor as he was sworn in and joins Bernie Moreno to represent Ohio in Washington, D.C. Ohio now has 2 Republican senators for the first time since 2007.
Over 140 officers were hurt that day, with injuries including crushed spinal discs, traumatic brain injuries, heart attacks, and strokes, while they bravely defended the Capitol and those who work here. Some lost their lives or became permanently disabled after sustaining injuries and horrific trauma at the hands of fellow citizens during the MAGA attack on January 6, 2021. In issuing those pardons, President Trump put the presidential seal of approval on political violence, so long as it supports him, and even if it's directed against law enforcement.
He was the one who yelled, "I got one," when he put Officer Fanone in a chokehold. When some rioters tried to protect Fanone, this guy attacked him again and hit him in the head. He was sentenced to 7 years and 6 months. He was not in the wrong place at the right time, at the wrong place at the wrong time. He had 45 previous arrests. That is the type of individual that Donald Trump has now put back into the community in which he came from. That is wrong.
This pardon that Donald Trump has issued is sweeping. It is 1,500 people. That is every single person charged in any kind of a way tied to January 6th, including those, the more than 500 or so, who are charged with violent offenses.
They're victims of what happened. All they were doing is protesting a rigged election. That's what they were doing. Unbelievable patriots, and they were unbelievable patriots.
Among those you pardoned, DJ Rodriguez. He drove a stun gun into the neck of a D.C. police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
In 2024, the Biden administration's EPA finalized changes to chemical risk evaluations, changing from a statutorily mandated risk-based approach to a zero-based hazard-based approach. Zero risk hazard-based approach. We've talked a lot about that this morning already. We all want to make America safer for our children, and I agree with my colleagues that we should always be trying to do better. But let's be clear, this change in approach from the EPA is a sea change in approach, and it creates more regulatory uncertainty and makes Americans less safe, not more safe, by pushing manufacturing overseas, jeopardizing American jobs, threatening supply chains, exposing them to intrusion by foreign adversaries, driving up costs for North Dakota farmers and ranchers, and thereby for everything that we purchase.
Now, the Fix Our Forests Act will change that. It lets the Forest Service do its job, restore forest health, increase resiliency to wildfires, and also to protect our communities, and I am proud to support it. This bill is common sense, and it's necessary. We're going to pass it in the House, work with the Senate, and get it to President Trump's desk as soon as possible. We've witnessed the destructive force of poor forestry management firsthand. The Multiple Use Sustained Yield Act of 1960 mandates that national forests be managed for multiple use. This includes outdoor recreation and timber management. Washington, D.C. has turned our national forests into national parks by bringing timber management to a standstill and setting the stage for the terrible disasters like those we have seen in California. We can no longer afford to ignore the safety and well-being of our communities. The Fix Our Forest Act lets the Forest Service do its job, restore forest health, increase wildfire resiliency, and protect communities.
And Masa, you said that this is the golden age. You used President Trump's phrase. Why is it this administration that can do it, do you think?
Because we can make deal happen. You know, it's all energized. Approval come much faster, much bigger, and more meaningful way.
We had a great meeting at the White House today with President Trump, and he's ready to go, and we're ready to go to deliver on that agenda.
We're excited to get started on an America First agenda because that's what the American people demanded, that we regain our respect internationally to keep Americans safe, that we lower the prices of everything from gas and groceries by regaining our energy dominance, and by securing our borders to keep Americans safe here at home.